Hi, my name is Jamil, and you're listening to Public Health World. Join me as I interview people making a difference in the world and their communities through public health and global health alike. Welcome, and thanks for joining for my first podcast episode of Public Health World. I thought it would be cool to interview myself so you can all get to know me better and get a better understanding of my goals and what I plan to do in the future. So, here goes. Okay, first question. What does public health mean to me? Public health is about preventing illness and disease while expanding life. It consists of everything from nutrition and exercise through to workplace health and safety and everything in between. Public health is literally everything. Okay, question 2. What actually led me to public health? So my whole life I wanted to help people. I just didn't know where I would fit in that. I hated school, and because of that my grades kind of failed, and by the time I'd finished grade 12 I ended up travelling. I travelled for 3 years, off and on, mainly on, throughout Australia and New Zealand, making my money through busking and just odd jobs here and there. Towards the end of that time, I was starting to burn out, and my dad suggested I take a course at something, and I decided to do nursing. I always wanted to help people, so I decided to bite the bullet, go back to school, and I did a Certificate 3 at Tech College or TAFE, depending on what country you're from. And I ended up, I loved it. I didn't love nursing as much as I loved the ability to learn a new skill and help people along the way. And I found a lot of issues in the nursing industry. And around the same time, I kind of I became a vegan after learning about the health impacts of meat and all these other different things, which led me down towards my next path, which happened to be nutrition. And my first class, on my first day of nutrition, I learned about this thing called public health. And from that moment, I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do. I just didn't know what it was called for the first 20 years of my life. So I ended up... keep in mind I'm only 22, by the way. So I ended up doing my Diploma of Nutrition at Torrens University last year. And about halfway through, I decided that I would do a degree. So I ended up, this month will be my first week, end of this month. I will start my BPH, or Bachelor of Public Health. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got here. Okay, next question. Why am I doing a podcast? Okay, so I decided to do this podcast because I want to learn from important professional people who know their stuff. So I decided to use this as a way I can learn more about public health, but not only myself, but my listeners as well. Because public health is so important, I believe everyone should be learning about it, at least a little bit. I'm hoping that this podcast will catch on and become quite big with at least students or people interested in public health. So yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward idea, but yeah. Okay, and last question. What do I see myself doing in the future? I honestly have no idea. I know the sorts of things I like, which is the more programs and project management sort of stuff and policy. I like those sorts of things, but who knows, by the time I start my degree and start getting through it, I might turn more towards epidemiology or something completely different. I'd like to, hopefully, after I finish studies and several years down the track after that, I'd love to work for something like a group like MSF, like Doctors Without Borders or Red Cross or something like that, and doing public health in poorer disadvantaged countries or even just poorer disadvantaged areas. Um, and I also want to help people with the prevention of chronic disease through nutrition, things like that. So it's a very wide range of things I'm interested in, and I'm hoping this degree and what I learned through through my podcast, I'm hoping that will narrow my field down at least a little bit. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this short introduction podcast. From now on, I will have guests instead, and I'm aiming to have a podcast out every 2 weeks to a month, depending on school and who's available, etc., etc. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you for listening.